Mr. President,
The senator from Louisiana.
how much time do I have remaining?
The senator has 3 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Mr. President. I see this senator from Montana, the finance chair on the floor, and also Senator Kyle, the senator from Arizona, who's been one of the chief negotiators on the package, and the senator from Louisiana, Senator Vitter. And I'd like to try, before we get to the time allotted for voting, say again how important it is to try to get this provision in the underlying bill corrected. It really is a technical correction that we're asking for here to allow a placed in service date to be extended from January 1st, 2012 to January 1st, 2013, a one-year extension to finish the projects for the low-income housing projects that are underway not only in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast. I want to submit a Times-Picayune editorial in support today. I want to submit a New York Times editorial March 2nd, and I want to submit to the record a letter of support from Secretary Donovan and Secretary Geithner testifying to the importance of these projects.
Without objection.
Thank you. I'd like to ask at this time if Senator Baucus and then Senator Kyle and then Senator Vitter might comment, I see them on the floor, about the importance of getting this fixed, the likelihood of us doing it today, and what might happen as we move forward. Senator Baucus.
I think
Senator Vitter.
Has
the senator from Louisiana.
Thank you, Mr. President. I certainly join my colleague from Louisiana in stressing the importance of this second year of a GO zone extension and look forward to continuing to work with all of these folks in getting that done absolutely as soon as possible in 2011. Want to emphasize one major point, which is this is not a new benefit to fund new projects which were never envisioned when the GO zone was initially created. This is simply an extension to fund those crucial projects which were at the center of this provision from the very beginning. They have taken longer than was initially forecast because of labor and other shortages after Hurricane Katrina. So this is simply a time extension to get the very same crucial projects done, not to add on to that list. And these projects are extremely important, including the wholesale renovation and reconstruction of 4 major housing projects in New Orleans post-Katrina that are being done using a dramatically different and better model, mixed income, lower density, not the old style housing projects from the 40s and 50s, which were, in my opinion, horrible social experiments. So I certainly join in this effort. I've been working with all of these folks to try to get this second year extension in this tax bill. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that because of a general decision that was apparently made that none of the extenders would go past the end of 2011. But working with these folks, and particularly Senator Kyle, we came to an agreement that we would absolutely work to include this in the first possible technical corrections or other measure that would be teed up in early 2011. And I thank everyone, particularly my Republican colleague John Kyle, for that willingness and that commitment. And I look forward to getting that done at the earliest possible moment.
Mr. President, I'd like that time charged to the other side. Senator Baucus.
Mr. President.
The senator from Montana.
Mr. President, both senators from Louisiana have stated the case very, very well. And frankly, this is not a typical extender. This is just a very important proposal where the placed in service date has to be changed because projects beyond the first year just could not be put in place the second year. So it's not a traditional extender where we just extend for 1 year or 2 year some other provision. This is more the nature of, hey, let's let what started the first year get accomplished in the second year. And that's why this 1 year added on is so important. I will work with the senators in the Finance Committee, our committee, when we bring up legislation next year to do our very best to make sure this provision is included so that we can help these people who really just desperately need housing in Louisiana.
Does the Senator have any idea about the time? And I'd like to see if Senator Kyle could say a word on this, because his views are very important.
Well, I might answer the Senator. My view would be at the earliest possible opportunity. I don't know when that is exactly, but it's something that should be placed high up near the very, very top.
Sometime in January or February?
Well, I hope. The Senator knows how this place operates, but it's certainly very, very, very early.
Senator.
Mr. President.
From Arizona.
Thank you. I thank my colleagues for bringing this issue to the attention of the Senate. Senator Vitter, as a matter of fact, brought this matter to my attention as the bill was being wrapped up, and I told him at that time that while we could not provide an extension longer than the one in the tax bill, that I would work with them early in 2011 to help these projects obtain the necessary extension. And I say the very same thing to the senior senator from Louisiana today. I also share the confidence of the chairman of the Finance Committee that we will find an appropriate tax bill early in 2011 to include this change, which I agree we all view as a technical change that will allow this special financing to be used as Congress intended it.
I have a question to the Senator.
Senator from Louisiana.
Is it his understanding now, having had several conversations with Senator Vitter and myself, that this technical correction we seek is only and limited to the 77 low-income housing, mixed-income projects through the Gulf Coast? Is that his understanding?
Mr. President, I would say this from Louisiana. I don't know the technical, whether it's 77 or 42 or whatever, but we have all discussed the fact that it is limited to those projects that are started but couldn't be completed within the one-year extension and therefore would require the second extension, and it is limited to this area, yes.
And is the Senator's intention to push for a tax bill? You were so successful in pushing this tax bill forward. Is it your intention to do that in January, early January, mid-January, early February?
Mr. President, I would say to my colleague that I asked the chairman of the Finance Committee, how quickly do you think we could do this? And he gave me the same answer he just gave you. Yes, as soon as we can, but it's hard to make a commitment about a tax bill coming to the floor. As I also told the senior senator from Louisiana, there are some other reasons why we have to act quite quickly next year, dealing with some technical fixes to other aspects of the tax bill. So there are other reasons to act quickly as well as this particular situation.
Well, I would just say, if I have 30 seconds left, I'm encouraged, Mr. President, by what I've heard from the Senate Finance Chair and the Chief Negotiator on tax issues on the Republican side, that they recognize that this is a technical correction. They recognize it's limited to low-income housing. They recognize the importance of these projects. They've committed to work on it as early as possible in the next Congress. I think that gives us a glimmer of hope. We won't get unanimous consent today because there remains objections on the other side of the aisle. But we can move forward with confidence, I think, knowing Senator Kyle is good on his word, Senator Baucus is good on his word, that they will try to fix this at the earliest possible date. And I thank the senator from Arizona and the senator from Montana.